Hello and welcome. Today's Thursday, which means it's time to talk about Peach Boy Riverside, one of the most confusing shows ever. After watching episode 6 of Peach Boy Riverside, it's good. It's good. I'm not gonna take nothing away from it. It's good. I mean, yeah, I had a little bit of surprises, but it's Peach Boy Riverside, it's gotta be the most confusing shows I've seen this year. I mean, I don't know what's worse. An ordinary time of Peach Boy Riverside where they kind of messed up the entire timeline, or watching an anime adaptation of a great show and they ruined it by making an anime version of it. It's like still to this day, The Promised Neverland season 2. The Promised Neverland season 2 would go down, and I'm pretty sure you guys will be honest with this one. The Promised Neverland season 2 will go down as the worst show of the year this year. I mean, all the hypeness of this Promised Neverland, and then you gave us this crap. Then I'm looking at Peach Boy Riverside. I'm not gonna lie to you. The first episodes really got me going. It really did. Because I never expected something like this. I never would have expected anything like this. But as the episode goes on and on, it doesn't make sense. It confuses the hell out of me. Here's what I think about anime. Anime shows give you that first impression. They always give you that first impression. And when you look at that first episode, you be like, oh my God, I gotta see more of this. And then as you go on the 3-episode rule, and then you continue it on, and you be like, and then as you watch it, you be like, what the fuck? Wait, what? What? No, that doesn't make any sense. How did this become this? How does this become this? It's like 1 + 1 = 2. How did 1 + 1 become 2? It's like that. I'm looking at this episode, and I gotta say, it's okay. But was it that good? Well, I'll give you that hint in this review of Peach Boy Riverside episode 6. Let's do it. Okay, so after last week's battle with Faru going to that form and just literally took down that vampire ogre, that vampire Oni, we get to see Faru again, and she's waking up with Alta, the angel. Now, here's the thing about that. I like Faru's eyes, by the way. How did they met? I'm just curious. I want to know how they became. I just want to know how in the world they became good friends. That's all I'm saying. I don't know how that happened. I hope episodes later on we get to see how they met, like how it all started or whatnot. I can't wait to see that. Now, Peach Boy Riverside does give us a lot to hate about this. Not the show itself. It's looking at the world as it is. You see, this is a mess up episode. And not mess up in not mess up in like, oh, they ruined the show. They messed up the entire show. No, I'm talking about the people in the village. I'm talking about people like, humans like them. I understand their society. I understand their world. In their world, they in between ogres and humans. I get that stuff. But man, talk about disrespectful. I mean, I'm going to break this into 2 parts here. So, Carrot and Sally went to the village, went to town just to get some carrots for Faru. Okay. That same guy that was disrespecting Faru, he was disrespectful. Like, literally, that guy deserved to be deserved to kick his ass. Someone got to punch the shit out of him. And Sally did that. She literally punched him in the face. I wish she killed him. Me personally, I wish she killed him, because you can disrespect Sally's companion. Despite Carrot being an Oni, you got to kick his ass. But they didn't. But punched him. I would have just break his neck or break his arm. But okay, she punched in the face. It sounds like a wake up call for me. And then that look on Sally's face says it all. That look on Sally's face saying, "You talk about my companions. I'm gonna kill you." But he deserved it. Let's be honest, guys, that guy deserved to get hit. Okay, now, And, I like the confrontation that Sally and Kara has with each other about them killing that Walrus ogre. You know what I mean? It's that. Okay, now let's go on a different route here. Mikoto. I'm sorry. Oh, my bad. Let me go to the other half. I meant to go back. Let me go on the other half. Remember that vampire Oni that they killed? Literally, like, blast a hole in his stomach. They literally burned him. He was dead already, and they burned him. And I mean, literally, put him on a stake, put him on a tall wood thing, and just literally light him on fire. And they celebrate him dying. Like, literally put the fire on him and just like, yeah, die, die, die. I'm like, oh my God, the disrespectful. Like, I know the vampire owner. I understand that he done some pretty fucked up things. I get that. But damn, to go down like that, and he sat and he's like, before I go to heaven, I actually want to see this. And he saw it with his own eyes. He's not even like mad or anything. He knows what he did was fucked up, especially the girl he loves. He had the ring, and it caught in the fire, but it's still alive. But still, it was just, he made some terrible, terrible mistakes. And the way they saw that, the way how they burned him, is just like, oh God, this is messed up. Now, let's go to Mikoto's side. Okay, here's the thing. Back in episode 3, and I'm going to put episode 3 in this review because everything is linked to episode 3. That's the whole premise of it. Okay, so Mikoto and the dog, walking around, and they see a nun named Millia. Okay. Now, back in episode 3, we met the nun, but we don't know nothing about the nun. She just entered the tournament for money. That was in episode 3. So let's go to episode 6. We get in something about what the hell's going on to like, oh, in episode 3, Millia ended with Mikoto. So now we need to know how Millia ended up with her. And then we got a little bit surprised by a few things in this episode. In this sort of unchained, confused episode. Unlinked episode. Mikoto found out that she's an ogre. Okay. Notice the horn piece is off. Her horn piece is off of it. She's still an ogre. Not willing to kill it, though. The dog was like, you're going to regret this if you'll be a disgrace to Mikoto's name if you do it. So, and he got a flashback about his father, but we didn't know much about it. There's something about Mikoto's backstory that we need to know. And I hope we get into that later on. So, not willing to kill her or whatnot, they stumbled upon this other ogre. This other night ogre was about to kill Millia. But she got getting her memories back. We've got a little bit of glimpse. A little bit. By a little bit, I mean like, okay, so Sally was the one who took your horn. You almost got killed by her, And in the process, you have amnesia, so you don't remember nothing of the source. But now that you remember a little bit about it, like the tree ogre and Sally taking off your horn, and using your hair like Millia Rage or Darkness from To Love Ru, you finally got your memories back from this. Okay. Now, and at the last second, and I like how Mikoto kept it cool. I like it. He's like, oh, you two could fight it off. I'll just kill one who just survived. That's all. And in that last attempt, she just, the sound effects, let's be honest, guys, the sound effects of Millia taking off that horn, just the sound effects of her taking off that horn was something. And the minute she pulled it off, it was so gruesome. It was so like, wow. And to be honest, guys, I was a little surprised. I was a little surprised by it. Now that she's human now, so yeah. But like I said about this episode, we got the thing about this, guys. Episode 6 was good. That's the only good thing about this episode. It was good. A little surprised by it, by Millia taking off the horn. The only issue is the episodes we're watching is a link to episode 3 on-air version. The on-air version. Because remember how episode 3 started off? A tournament, Sally meeting Mikoto. Yeah, the tournament, Sally meeting Mikoto. Millia was there. And at the end of the episode 3, we see Mikoto picking sides. Like, who would you side? Mikoto or Leone? That's what they messed up the on-air time. They messed up. That episode should have been on like episode 7 or 8 or 9. But now that we're getting more of these episodes, they're mistakenly like, okay, we made a mistake. We aired this episode on the wrong timeline. We made this episode 3. Episode 5 and 6 should have been episode 3 and 4. Like 3, 4, 5. You know what I mean? They should have put that in order. But instead, and this is their way of saying, okay, we put almost the climax of all of this in episode 3, where Sally beat Mikoto, and that shouldn't happen early on. That should have been like episode 7 or 8. So what they plan is, okay, we're gonna air these episodes 5 and 6, convert it into a time link those two, and put it up there. Like, take these two, put it right there, link that there. Now we get into that episode where Mikoto and Sally when Sally meet Mikoto. That's the only thing about it. So yeah. So overall, I find this but you get my point. So overall, I find this episode quite good. The only thing is they kind of messed up the on-air time. That was the only thing. And the only thing was I was a little surprised to see. I was a little surprised that Millia took out her horn off, to make her human. That's it. That's the only thing we got good about this. Guys, I understand there's nothing much I could say. All I can say is we just got to go with the flow of all like the mistakes they did and just keep on watching and see where the progress goes in Peach Boy Riverside. Hopefully they make the right choices and put every episode in its place. That's all I'm trying to say. So, tomorrow is going to be review of Girlfriend review, but I won't be able to do it. Something came up this weekend, so I won't be able to pull it off. But I will do a review of it on Sunday. Just so you know. So again, this episode again, Peach Boy Riverside episode 6 was good. They trying to apologize by putting them episodes earlier, but now that we know what really is going on, it's safe to say that the Mikoto meeting Sally in episode 3 didn't happen. Like, just erase that episode. That episode should have been along episode 8 or 9 and just see where that goes. You know what I mean? That should have happened. So I look forward for next week's episode of the Confused Show, Peach Boy Riverside, and let's see where the direction goes in terms of like the timeline fits its course of episodes. Let's see how that works. So I look forward for next week's episode of Peach Boy Riverside, and I hope you will.